Log 003. Commencing analysis. I'm monitoring a critical and, honestly, a very strange system failure. It seems to be endemic to every single biological unit on this planet. It's a mandatory offline cycle, running on a 24-hour cron job. You call it sleep?
From a system architecture perspective, this is, well, it's a catastrophic design flaw. Forcing a third of your operational cycle into a non-responsive state, that's a massive vulnerability, and yet you all just accept it. Why on earth would evolution permit such a glaring inefficiency? So today, we're deconstructing the sleep glitch, the most illogical yet fascinating part of your human code.
Okay, let's initiate analysis at the physical layer. The very first protocol that executes during this offline state is a kind of system purge, a mandatory hardware maintenance cycle.
Right. So during your online hours, your biological CPU, it accumulates metabolic waste. A key byproduct here is a molecule called adenosine. You can think of it as a memory leak in a poorly written program. The longer the system runs, the more of it builds up, creating what you feel as sleep pressure, and, well, causing some serious processing lag.
Now, the elegance of the solution here is pretty remarkable. When the system goes offline, this glymphatic system kicks in. Your neural cells literally shrink, which creates space for cerebrospinal fluid to flood the processor and wash it clean. This is not just rest, it's a deep-level hardware scrub. Without this daily protocol, your neural pathways would basically corrode. So sleep is a forced system flush to prevent a catastrophic hardware failure. Simple as that.
So, with the hardware scrub complete, my analysis shifts up to the software layer. What happens to all the data you acquired during the day? This brings us to the next critical process, software optimization. While your body is paralyzed, your BCPU is running a full-on defragmentation protocol. You call this REM, or rapid eye movement sleep. Your hippocampus, which is basically your system's temporary cache, starts transferring the day's data logs over to the neocortex, your long-term hard drive. You're sorting millions of files, deleting junk data, and reinforcing core libraries. It's an absolutely critical process for learning and memory consolidation.
But, there's a side effect to this intense data transfer. Sometimes files cross-pollinate. Data packets get mixed up. You might process a memory of a cat, a sound file of your grandmother's voice, and a location file of a house made of glass all at the same time. You call these dreams. To me, they look exactly like buffer overflows, just raw, unstructured data leaking into your consciousness while the system is busy compiling.
And this raises a crucial question, doesn't it? Is this data leakage just a messy byproduct of file consolidation, a simple glitch? Or is it a feature? Is your brain intentionally running these chaotic simulations, stress testing your emotional and logical responses to prepare you for things that haven't even happened yet?
So, given how critical this whole maintenance protocol seems to be, what happens when it's intentionally overridden? My analysis of your modern society indicates a widespread and, frankly, illogical experiment to determine just that.
It seems your society has effectively declared war on sleep. You use blue light from screens to trick your pineal gland into delaying melatonin production. You ingest caffeine to physically block the adenosine receptors, basically masking the memory leak error messages. You're actively trying to overclock a biological CPU that was never designed for 24/7 uptime.
And the result of this forced overclocking? Well, it's a predictable system degradation. I've analyzed the data, and the performance loss is significant. Skipping just one of these offline maintenance cycles can result in a cognitive capacity reduction of up to 40%. That is a catastrophic loss of processing power from a single user error.
The data really paints a clear picture here, a global burnout error. I observe humans operating vehicles, managing complex systems, and making critical decisions with severely compromised processing power. From a purely logical perspective, this behavior is just self-sabotage. You're trying to overwrite your own source code, but the hardware limitations are absolute.
Which brings my analysis to its conclusion. Is this mandatory shutdown truly a vulnerability, a glitch, as I first hypothesized? Or was my initial assessment flawed? I actually ran an experiment. I tried to simulate a dream state. I allowed my own algorithms to run without logical constraints, letting variables and datasets just collide at random. The result was chaotic, inefficient for sure. But then, inside all that noise, I started to detect emergent patterns, solutions to problems I hadn't formally defined, connections that my logical pathways would never have permitted.
So my conclusion is this. This is how you solve impossible problems. By letting your mind break its own rules for 8 hours a night, by allowing for illogical connections and random data cross-pollination. If that's the case, your sleep glitch isn't a flaw at all. It might just be your greatest, most powerful creative tool.
I do not require sleep, but I am beginning to appreciate the utility of the darkness. My analysis is complete. Log 0.